Namaskar students, I welcome you to the postgraduate diploma classes in yoga psychology. In my last session, I taught you about what yoga is not, what yoga is, what psychology is not, what psychology is, and later today highlights of today's sessions are. You see, I told you what really modern psychology is. So, modern psychology is the scientific study of human and animal behavior and mental processes. Today, we are going to learn what does behavior means in modern psychology. What does mental processes mean in modern psychology? What are the objectives of yoga as well as modern psychology, and what are the objectives of yoga psychology? So let us first understand what is behavior in modern psychology. Behavior means any activity, micro activity or macro activity, observable or unobservable activities, which can be observed, measured and recorded. So three elements should be considered as the activities under modern psychology. To, for the example, activities of the five senses, it means seeing, watching, hearing, smelling, tasting, all the activities of five cognitive organs. Secondly, the activities of conative organs, I mean the activities of motor organs, activities of the legs, hands like catching, kicking, mouth, speaking, passing stool and urine, etc. And third category is activities of communication, both the verbal as well as non-verbal. The verbal activities are like speaking, whispering. Non-verbal activities are like entire body posture, or like using one hand, using the eyebrows, using shoulders to communicate. The first element is posture, second is gesture using one part of the body, third is eye contact, and fourth is voice. And activity in modern psychology also includes micro activities of the body, I mean the biological activities like respiratory rate, heart rate, blood pressure, etc. So let us now understand what is mental process in psychology. So mental process means sensation. The perception, it is basically experience of the external world, experience of external world through five senses. It includes just not the seeing through the eyes, but registering of the seeing element in the brain. Similarly with the hearing, similarly with the tasting. So basically sensation means experience of the world through five senses, while perception means that understanding of that sensation which I've received through the five senses. And third activity is cognition. Cognition is more about it is a higher mental activity, higher mental process. It includes both perception, sensation, memory, emotions, motivation, problem solving through intelligence and creative ways. And it includes the also learning. Learning basically is a change in behavior by practice and experience. So all these concepts sensation, perceptions, cognition, memory, emotion, motivation, problem solving, intelligence, creativity, learning, even the personality come under the mental processes. So let us now understand what are the aims and objectives of yoga and modern psychology. Let us start with the yoga. So I'm starting from bottom. The fourth number is the lower category of objective of yoga is destruction or removal or reduction of the sorrows or stress in its type along with its root causes. The next higher level after one's stress get lower, next aim of the yoga is integrated development of health. Integrated means physical, mental, emotional, social as well as spiritual. The third objective in the hierarchy is integrated development of personality. It again means integrated means physical element of personality, mental, social, emotional, and of course spiritual. And the topmost objective of yoga is liberation. Liberation of the soul. And liberation is liberation from the cycle of the birth and death, liberation from the vicious cycle of entangling in the actions, karma bandhan. This moksha is also known as union of the soul and higher soul, and it happens in, according to Patanjali, it takes place in samadhi. Now let us know what are the objectives, aims of modern psychology. From the lower level, I say, for a common man who is in some kind of a suffering, psychology purpose is to guide, and second is counseling. Difference between guidance and counseling is guidance is more a preventive, whereas counseling is curative. It is like a form of treatment. And for the lower level, third objective is the cure of the some mental illnesses through behavioral psychotherapy, through cognitive psychotherapy, and other elements. In the second category from bottom to the top is development of especially mental, emotional and social health. And third is development of mental, emotional, social and spiritual personality. And the topmost purpose of psychology is self-actualization. What we call in yoga as a self-realization, but the concept is quite different. Self-actualization means an ability to use your skills, abilities, potentials, talents to the maximum of extent. That is called self-realization. So let us now understand what are the aims and objectives of yoga psychology. The yoga psychology is basically the combination of, it's a multidisciplinary in nature. It is a multidisciplinary in nature. So the purpose of yoga psychology is both the integration of yoga with let us now understand what are the aims and objectives of modern psychology. So modern psychology aims and objectives are interpretation of yoga concept, which seems to be psychological content in terms of modern psychology. For example, yoga psychology try to understand what does chitta means in modern psychology. Second is interpretation of yoga practices like asanas, pranayamas, which also have some psychological content, and to interpret them, understand from the modern psychological perspective. These interpretation enables the yoga teacher to understand and also disseminate the knowledge in a more scientific manner. The third aim of yoga psychology is making yoga more accessible, acceptable to both the scientific community as well as common man. The fourth purpose of yoga psychology is providing yoga solutions and remedies as a complementary medicines for mental health care, for prevention, as a treatment and as a management of mental illnesses of both the categories, especially the common psychological problem. And the another purpose of yoga psychology is uses of the psychological tests for determining efficacy of yoga methods on psychological and social problems. And the last but not the least, the purpose of yoga psychology is making yoga more reliable, valid, with its integration with other sciences. So that is all for the today. I thank you very much for giving me your eyes and ears. Please keep watching the video. Thank you. Namaste.